Let's check in with Doctor Who here real quick because, guys, we got some news. A lot of it is, well, it depends. From a certain point of view, it's good news. From other points, well, yeah, it's really pointing towards cancellation and just an outright shelving for a decade plus. If that rumor from the BBC is anywhere near approaching truthful, 5 to 10 years, yeah, that might be the basement for how long the Doc needs to be traveling around in the TARDIS without a camera around. But you have Gallifrey One, okay? The longest running Doctor Who fan convention announces it'll be shutting down for good. Oh crap, that's normally not a good sign, right? And you might think, okay, it's just one convention, it's a fan convention, that's one thing, okay? They come and go. Even with the health of a franchise, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. That could be, oh, we're under new management, okay? Things are a little tight right now, but then, of course, yeah, this is the longest running convention. This is akin to, like Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con not existing anymore. Some various incarnation and saying, no, comic books and the comic industry is fine, don't worry about it. The hits of Doctor Who fandom continue. After it's been rumored Gatwa will be leaving the role and the show's cancellation after its season 2. Now the longest running Doctor Who fan convention announced it will be winding down and ending. Yes, Doctor Who's fans have had not much to look forward to in recent years. Yes, with the show becoming even more woke, and that's not a catch-all term. That's just the facts, because we went through every episode of season 1, series 1 of the new Doctor, and yeah, it was really bad. Like, it was written in crayon and drool, and the best way is, it's an actually applicable use of the term woke. Like, no two ways about it. Much to the media glee, but fans tuning out in droves. Gatwa's run as the character has resulted in the lowest rated episodes to date, with a new season looming around the corner. Yeah, they've threatened it with us, and now they've promised us a release date, but we'll get to that very shortly. BBC just bizarrely announced their air date, of these new episodes during a rugby match, really perplexing fans, since the company doesn't seem to be prioritizing Doctor Who whatsoever. But they try to advertise and they let you know about the release date during a rugby match. Do they know the content of their franchise at this point in time, or do they hope they can trick enough people with the gay doctor and his street food vending companion? Interesting approach. This comes, after last year's debacle, when UK fans learned for the first time that in Doctor Who history, it would be launching in America first on Disney Plus before it aired hours later on the BBC. Now, Gallifrey One, Doctor Who's longest-running fan convention, announced that they would be ending their con in 2028. Wow, that's actually a pretty long lead time, if we're being honest. But, the 2025 convention has already concluded. We announced on February 16th, 2025. At the end of this year's convention's closing ceremonies at Gallifrey One will be coming to an end in 2028. After 3 more events over the next 3 years, our February 2028 convention will conclude with an unprecedented, sometimes inexplicable, and definitely historic 38-year run as the world's largest and longest-running annual Doctor Who fan event. Nothing in life lasts forever, but for so many of you who have been with us for over the years or even decades, probably felt like the fun would never end. Every year we hear the same thing. Galley is timeless. Galley is eternal. It'll be there for us always and forever. Yet it's very easy to forget that behind every guest, every program item, every photo, every autograph, every vendor, every art show, every participant, every game, every video, every moment, there's a person. Sometimes the same person. More often, many people. People who care. People who give their time, some for a weekend, a year, some for much longer, and even a few who have dedicated their lives for 36 years and counting our entire run. Volunteers, everyone. Gallifrey One is a fully non-profit event. No one has ever benefited financially from it. Not 1 cent. It's kind of like, BBC in recent years, the Doctor Who proper. Our board of directors, the volunteers who help us on site. It's always remained an all-fan, all-volunteer experience. In fact, many of those volunteers don't even live in Los Angeles. They commute to LA on their own dime to help us run the show. And that includes a member of the board of directors, too, who lives all the way in the UK. The announcement then speaks to the history since the 1980s when the convention first launched, before assuring fans they're trying to do right by them. Yes. We want to give people enough time to come down over the next 3 years and really, soak in what once was a proud and thriving fandom, because what is there to celebrate at this point in time? Even during the lean years, this convention started during the gap, okay? when the series first got canceled and prior to its resuscitation in 2005, like between 89 and 95, there was nothing going on with Doctor Who. Only people just waiting and hoping beyond hope that they would somehow relaunch this IP that, yeah, eventually did happen. And now at this point in time, by saying arrivederci, there's nothing really to look forward to, reminisce on the past, think about the good times, forget the tough times, and we'll see you down the road. It's very interesting, but it's not the only Doctor Who related endeavor that's also getting shut down, because the former Doctor Who VFX studio also shuts down. The VFX studio, The Mill, was put into administration and shut down after 35 years. Funny how this is all starting to line up. When its parent company, Technicolor Creative Studios UK Limited, a part of Technicolor Group, filed for administration on February 24th, 2025. The Mill was the company responsible for the VFX of around 150 episodes of Doctor Who, The Sarah Jane Adventures, and Torchwood until 2013. In the same year, the group of artists and producers from the Mill's TV department formed their own company, Milk VFX. So yeah, man, people that were foundational to the reinvention and the reinvigoration of Doctor Who are also stepping aside. As technology changes, as times change, it's interesting how, your audience tastes don't really change. For as much as the quote-unquote creatives behind the scenes demand that they change, realistically, the reception from the people, there's not so much change going on there. So yeah, even when they announce the release date and the confirmation that Series 15 will in fact come out, nobody cares, bro, because this was an announcement that was made quite a long time ago, relatively speaking, and very few people care. It's time to set your alarms. Doctor Ncuti Gatwa is on his way back to your screens, this time with a new addition to the TARDIS, Belinda Chadra, which is so much easier to say than Varada Sethu's real name. Okay, Season 2, Series 15, will officially launch on Saturday, the 12th of April at 8 a.m. on BBC iPlayer and later that day on BBC One in the UK. At the same time, those outside the UK can watch the Doctor and Belinda on their epic adventures on Disney Plus where available. So yes, we have finally got confirmation. April 12th, it's coming out a little over a month later. Very strange for something that is going to be so consequential to the future of this show. Or maybe they realize that this thing is going to be an absolute dud and they want to go out with a whimper instead of a bang. So hopefully they can go ahead and slide the failure and the announcement of the cancellation under the rug, because there's no hype behind this at all whatsoever. Like the announcement coming out during a rugby match, the fact that this information has been out there for the better part of a week and nobody gives a shit. Like I'm recording this on the night of the 4th, okay? To give you full transparency on this. But this news was made available at the end of the week, or at the end of the previous week, February 26th. I had not heard a single thing about this. Nobody even talked about it until, the beginning of this month. Like, this is a dead franchise, okay? And it's stupid shit like this that has led to the degradation of this IP. Like, holy Christ, man. Doctor Who Season 2 episode revealed as American Idol or Eurovision-style singing competition billed as the most expensive to produce of all time. Because that's what we want, high-production singing features in our Doctor Who show. Yeah, it's perfect for Ncuti Gatwa, okay? That's all he did in the first season. Just gay exploits that highlighted Ncuti Gatwa, not the character of the Doctor. This was all about being big, gay, and bombastic, and that's why nobody fucking cares. Doctor Who is already looking to be in trouble as a Season 2 is about to air, and now the leaked plot for one of the episodes reveals that the show will double down on the ridiculousness with an episode devoted to a singing competition to copy the show Eurovision, bragging is the most expensive episode ever to produce. Yeah, they did the exact same thing last season by just doing a cheap knockoff of Bridgerton. I was going to say Riverdale, but it's basically written by the same idiots. So imagine having access to an IP of a guy that can travel throughout all of time and space and then just landing on doing a half-ass photocopy of a reality show. Like, what the hell is going on? This season, Doctor Who appears to be make or break for Russell T Davies, who, also, by the way, has already left the BBC and is writing a new show on Channel 4, which, surprise, it's going to be gay-themed. I know, right? I'm just as shocked as you. LGBTQ plus agenda iteration of the show. Rumors have circulated that Ncuti Gatwa is already considering exiting. And yeah, there's apparently a scene of him regenerating, and there's rumors it could be David Tennant again because they did the whole stupid bi-generation thing at the end of the 60th anniversary special. So I don't, like, it doesn't really matter, man, because in 2025, there will be no Christmas special. Yeah, because for Doctor Who proper, there's a couple of announced spin-offs, but who even knows if those are going to get off the ground? Who knows if there's any footage of that shot? Yeah, after this handful of episodes, there's nothing else. Okay, there's nothing else earmarked. The only thing that we hear is that Disney wants to get out of the contract, and BBC is going, no, guys, no, everything's going to be fine. You don't believe those rumors at all. And Ncuti, well, yeah, he might be, shut up, we love Doctor Who. And the BBC, yes, await ratings numbers to determine whether to continue. Last season with Ncuti Gatwa, the gay black doctor, hit an all-time ratings low for the show. Yes, well, I think all five, or is it, what is it, 4 of the 5 and 6 of the top 10 worst viewed episodes belong to the previous season. Like, it's amazing, okay, just how bad things have gotten. It didn't help that Gatwa told critics not to watch and touch grass prior to the show airing. God, oh yeah, I remember that, because yeah, he had that sit-down interview with the drag queen. The maestro, god damn it. The 2024 Christmas special was no better, also breaking record lows. Yes, at first, when the ratings occurred, the producers tried to spin the overnight ratings, didn't show the whole story. However, as more in-depth ratings came in, yeah, those were hilariously awful. We went over those as well. It became worse as it appears Davies is going to double down on the political agenda and the dumbing down of the show for this season, having hired 4 new writers. Yeah, and all of them are gay, and one of them, has a proclivity of writing some of the most nauseating children's books you are likely to ever see. This episode that Juno Dawson writes will be similar to the book. Yeah, the most degenerate book you're likely to ever see is an episode branded The Singing Special. According to the Daily News, it will be the 5th episode of the show, and I think there's only 6 this season. So yeah, what a way to cap off your final season. According to the Daily News, it will be, the 5th episode of the show, and Doctor's new companion is slated to become a contestant in an intergalactic version of Eurovision or American Idol. I already want to die. Leaning into the troubling trend of the new Doctor Who episodes copying other programs and putting it in this setting. Yeah, when you have the entire, well, not just the entire galaxy, the entire, to just go ahead and lend a term from another beleaguered franchise, an entire multiverse at your fingertips, and this is the best that you can do. Okay, season 1, yes, saw troubles with this concept as Russell T Davies directly ripped off a plot from Black Mirror. Oh yes, and the episode Rogue was an attempt to do a Bridgerton, but Doctor Who, yes, to the point where they even referenced the show in the episode to remind the viewer base what they were doing. Yeah, watching knockoff Bridgerton, which at that point in time would have just caused anybody who was still a Doctor Who fan to roll their eyes so hard it gives them a grade 2 concussion, or appeal to a non-existent group of people who watch Bridgerton and don't watch Doctor Who. Doing a reality singing contest is next level painful for fans, though it's not the first time Davies has leaned into reality shows, as the Christopher Eccleston iteration, yes, had an iteration of Big Brother as one of its episodes. Yeah, but that was back at a time when, Russell T Davies actually had some talent, and it wasn't just gay everything. He could write stories outside of his own worldview. So yeah, it was probably a little bit more nuanced than that. What makes this even more bizarre gambit is writer Juno Dawson, who's a man, yes, pretending to be a woman, brags that this is the most expensive to produce episode of Doctor Who ever. Yeah, after the rumors of Disney trying to worm their way out of this contract where they're out of their obligations at the end of this season, meaning that, yeah, new season, they should also release a couple of posters prior to that April 12th release date. Final season as well. You might actually get a couple of additional eyebrows raised and a couple of eyeballs on some TV sets if you come around and say this is going to be the last episode of Doctor Who. You might find a way to get out of the basement. You might find a way to break out of the 2s that you were pulling for overnights and the lower than 3s you're likely to get for the +7 numbers when this thing is all said and done. What a disaster. And we only have a month to wait. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.